All right, let's see if we're lucky today. So our directions are going to ask us to simplify on all of these. So what I want to do is demonstrate what this problem's actually telling us to do so that you can verify that the trick, that not the trick, but the rule that we're using actually works. So if I have x to the fifth and I want to divide it by x squared, if I drew out, expanded out what that says you have x times x times x times x times x. That's your x to the fifth. All over x times x, there's your x squared. Then we have some math that we can do. What's x over x equal to?
1.
Okay. What's x over x equal to?
1.
Okay. And what you're left with is x times x times x. And the simplest way to write that would be using exponents and getting x cubed. Okay? Now let's verify that that actually works even if you have a base that is a number. So I'm going to give you an obnoxiously long problem. And I'm going to write it in a way that you normally are not going to see things written. We have 7 to the 10th divided by 7 squared. So again, we're going to expand out what 7 to the 10th means. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All over 7 times 7. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do little mini division problems. What's 7 divided by 7?
1.
And 7 divided by 7.
1.
So what that leaves me is 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. I'm going to lose count. Or 7 to the 8th power. And hopefully that's going to alleviate this desire you guys have to multiply or divide the 7s. The base doesn't change, okay? All right, let's try another one. Let's do one more. And we'll do, oops, I asked you to go that way, thank you. I asked you to go that way, thank you. I guess I was too close to that other button. Sorry about that. Let's do one more. And we have x squared divided by x to the fifth. So again, we expand it out. And we get x times x for x squared. And we get x times x times x times x times x for x to the fifth. And we get x over x is 1, and x over x is 1. Now remember, we have a fraction, and in order to get our answer, we're supposed to be multiplying straight across. Before, we didn't have a fraction, we just had, the numerator values. On the top, I see 1 times 1. On the bottom, I see x times x times x. And that's where we get 1 over x cubed from. Okay, so it's really important that we understand this. Now, let's talk about it from the rule where we said if you subtract and you get a negative exponent, that just says that your base is in the wrong location of the fraction. If you move him, now his exponent becomes positive. Okay? All right, so we're not going to leave any negative exponents. All right, let's try another one. And this is where confusion starts. This says negative x cubed over x cubed. That negative in front of x cubed, what is it?
-1.
It's a -1. It's a coefficient. So what this problem is saying is -1 over 1. And then if we apply our rule, x3 take away 3. Top number, take away the bottom number. So what's -1 divided by 1?
-1.
And what's 3 take away 3?
0.
Okay. Now, if you took away the negative to begin with and just had x cubed over x cubed, again, what do you get when you divide something by itself?
1.
You get 1. So what we have here is -1 times 1, which gives us the final answer of -1. So the take home from this to remember is anything to the 0 power equals 1, because when you get an exponent of 0, that means you divided something by itself, and you took away all the x's. That doesn't give you 0, because it's division. We don't get 0 with division unless we have 0 divided by something. We're going to get the number 1. Okay? All righty. Let's keep moving on. We're going to keep using our rules. So let's see, we're on number 5. So we'll use our rule for dividing monomials. 24x squared y to the 5th divided by 6x to the 7th y. So when you're doing this, again, remember we talked about this before with the monomials, or brain steps, things that your brain is doing. A lot of you are fine doing the things in your head, but I'm going to lay it out in the paper or on the screen here, what you would be doing in your head to get to the final answer. Minimum amount of work, original problem equals answer. Okay? And if all you're doing is copying from the back of the book for your homework, it's going to come a little tough when we have a quiz. So we're going to take our coefficients, and we said if there are coefficients, we're going to divide them. Top number divided by bottom number. Then we're going to look at exponents. There's 2 on the top and 7 on the bottom, so we'll subtract that way. Y's, 5 on the top, 1 on the bottom, so we'll subtract 5, take away 1. So what's 24 divided by 6?
4.
And what's 2 take away 7?
-5.
And what is 5 take away 1?
4.
4. Okay, so let's go back and look at these answers. And we said we cannot leave negative exponents. Look at your original problem. Where were there more coefficients, top or bottom?
Top.
So that looks like we're going to get something left over in the top. X's, more on the top or bottom?
Bottom.
So that means we should have our remainder X's on the bottom. Y's, more on the top or bottom? So whatever we have left over should end up on the top. So the final answer says you keep 4 on top and y to the 4th on top, since they are both positive exponents. That's the key word here. The x has to go to the bottom because there were more x's to begin with on the bottom, so it makes sense. That's where the leftovers would go. Okay? So I'm going to give you one, and then I'm going to pause the video. And I want you guys to try to solve this one and discuss with the person sitting next to you your answer and see if you guys come up with the same thing. And if you don't, kind of have a discussion as to who do you think is the right person. I'll give you just a minute or so to do that. So our problem is -2xy squared z cubed divided by 8x to the 6th y squared. And let's talk about this number 6. Let's just do a little prediction. Looking at each of the pieces, I want you to tell me with your thumb up or thumb down where that remainder is going to end up. So looking at the coefficients, will your remainder end up in the numerator or the denominator? So thumbs up if it's in the numerator, thumbs down if it's in the denominator. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of denominators. X's, thumbs up numerator, thumbs down denominator. Okay, so you guys are saying, nope, x's are going to end in the bottom. How about the y's? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, we have a new thumb position. We have the middle, because why are you telling me in the middle? Oh, because y squared divided by y squared is going to give me 1, and it actually is not going to show up anywhere, okay, because it's just going to get blended in when we multiply. The z's, thumbs up, thumbs down. So most of you say that. All right, let's see how you did. So we'll break it down. We have -2 over 8. We have 1x on the top minus 6 from the bottom. I'm going to run myself out of room. Y squared minus y squared, and then z. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Let's try that again. I ran myself out of room. That was wrong. Sorry. So we have -2 over 8. We have 1 take away 6 on the x's. We have 2 take away 2 on the y's. And what do we take away from the z's?
Nothing.
We take away nothing.
It's 2 minus 6, not 1.
Oh, for the x's.
Oh, for the x's.
It is 1 minus 6.
Yeah, did it wrong.
Okay. Woohoo! We're catching boo-boos all the time. So, now there is a negative in this fraction, and 2 and 8 have a 2 in common, so it reduces to negative 1/4. 1 take away 6 is a negative 5. 2 take away 2 is a 0, and 3 take away 0 is a 3. So, putting everything where they need to be, there's still going to be a negative in the numerator. X to the 5th is going to go on the bottom along with the 4. Y to the 0 power equals 1, so we don't see y in our answer, and then z cubed goes on top. So the final answer should be negative z cubed over 4x to the 5th. So if you didn't get that one right, go ahead and get it. So let's go ahead and practice a little bit with those negative exponents. Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I heard Rachel. She said, yeah, we're all good. Oh, that was Alexis. Okay, Lexus. Yeah. All right, so this is just merely kind of playing with the notion of negative exponents. Raise your hand if you have an idea what this answer should be. No.
3a to the 1. No, I'm sorry. It should be 3a 3 3a 1 over a.
3a 1
So
over
the 1
a.
over a power.
Okay, I've got people coming out of their seats right now. Christian.
It should be 3 over a.
Okay, why is it 3 over a, not 3a to the first over a to the first or something like that? I got lost in it. Christian,
Yeah.
why?
Because the negative 1 is the negative is to the a, not the 3.
What you need to pay attention to is the exponent is only attached to what's directly in front of it. What's directly in front of the exponent is an a. It's the only thing that's directly in front of it, because the 3 is then in front of that. So when I write this answer down, the 3 stays where he is, but the negative exponent says move the a down, and that's all you do on that one. Okay, let's get a little bit more confusing. Negative 4x squared y to the negative 5th. So now all we're doing is interpreting answers really at this point. Who thinks they know how to write this guy correctly? Negative 4x squared y to the negative 5th.
Negative 4x squared over y to the 5th.
Okay, I agree with that answer, but my question is, can you explain why we didn't take that negative 4 and put it in the denominator?
Because the negative rule only applies to exponents.
Okay, so here's kind of an important thing to write down. Negative 4 is not the same thing as 4 to the negative first. In order to switch a location of something, you need to have an exponent that's negative. This is just a negative value. So this gives you negative 4. This gives you 1 over 4. That is going to be the most common mistake that I will see on this stuff, so I don't want it to happen. All right, here comes one last one here. This one's going to be fun. I know it's a party. It's a party every day here in this class.
Oh, boy.
We like learning. We're learning here today, folks. All right. What do we do on this one? Melanie.
It should be N3 and then N6.
So leave it the way it is? That's the answer?
It should be N9.
N to the 9th power. How did you get N to the 9th power?
Because it's N, then negative 6 is your exponent. It's in the wrong place in the fraction. It should be to the top and then you add it.
And remember, when we do subtractions, the double negative makes a positive. And the answer is N to the 9th. All right, you've got your homework.